Wood represents tamas gun, the mode of inertia. Smoke represents rajas, and the fire represents sattva. So it's like to cook or to heat, what we really want is the fire. So to be in the fire of self-realization, the fire of full participation in life and self-discovery and connection with the Supreme, that requires sattva as a platform. Another metaphor used by Bhaktivedanta Swami, it also relates to fire, that just like, okay, like if a spark jumps out of the fire and it lands on dry grass, the dry grass represents sattva, right? It can become fire again. If the spark lands on land, then that represents rajas. Means like, okay, the spark is still there, but like it's not going to produce much heat. And if the spark lands on water, that's like tamas. It's like completely extinguished. So that's why I find it very helpful to distinguish in each area of life. What does tamas look like? What's rajas look like for each person? What's sattva look like? We can, now I said like guna, a definition of guna is rope or string. So just like, let's say if we have a bunch of strings knotted together. Now, generally, if we just like pull on the strings, the knot becomes more gnarly, it becomes tighter. But, you know, usually there's some string we can pull in a particular way, and the knot doesn't become tighter. Oh, it starts to unravel. So that's the sattvic string. In each situation, each apparent dilemma, each life challenge, that's the sattvic string that, we start to give attention in that way, with that consciousness in that direction, then the knot in the heart, the knot in the relationship begins to unravel. Transformative communication it's grounded in sattvic mode, and it requires that we are sattvic. It requires that we are sattvic in our consciousness. So as we go on in part 2, we're going to focus a lot on coaching clients on habit change, and to change habits that usually looks like the client, things go from subtle to external, the client transforming their consciousness from tamas and rajas towards sattva. So sattvic mode means I'm consciously ready, I'm consciously willing and choosing to give up immediate gratification, right? Going for immediate gratification, that's usually some form of rajas or tamas, modes of reactive activity or inertia. I'm consciously willing to give up some reactive, to give up some immediate gratification for longer term fulfillment. Yes, I'm gonna give up eating at night, big meals, to rise early and have an energizing morning program. I'm gonna give up just telling people what to do and reacting and arguing and just quickly praising because I want to be liked. Won't you just like me? I'm gonna give up those comfortable roadblocks to have enough emotional distance from my needs for approval, my needs to feel better than you. I'm going to give up those immediate gratification roadblocks to deeply enter your world and deeply listen. So that's sattvic listening, as opposed to rajasic or tamasic roadblocks to communication. It's described in the Bhagavad-Gita, tapo divyam putraka sattvam shuddhyad yasmad brahmasakyam tvanantam, that as spiritual beings having a human experience, that this life, like, it's especially meant, it's especially designed We also give the example in the book and in the first part of PPTC about using the computer as a doorstop, right? So we can use this highly sophisticated human form for activities that are common to other species, like eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And of course, we don't want to neglect our eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. At the same time, we get to use this human form of life to perform austerities meant for self-realization, meant to reveal that which has been buried, meant to reveal absolute spiritual truth. When I say absolute, I mean truth that's true in all time and space, right? I'm David Wolf, I'm 60 years old. That's not absolute truth. Was I David Wolf, 60 years old, 100,000 years ago? Will I be David Wolf, 60 years old, million years in the future? But I'm not this body. I'm the irreducible quantum of consciousness that inhabits this body. I'm a servant of the Supreme. That's true in all time and space. So human life is especially meant to voluntarily, joyfully, do some austerity, give up some immediate stimulation, gratification for that experience that gives enduring fulfillment.